All right, let's get into it. Today, we are talking about a pretty high-stakes mission, taking that amazing AI agent you built and, well, launching it out into the real world. And look, this isn't just about flipping a switch and hoping for the best. It's about having a real mission strategy, one that covers you from liftoff all the way to a long, successful journey in orbit.
You know that exact moment I'm talking about, right? That feeling, it's a mix of total excitement and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of terror right before you go live. You've poured weeks, maybe months, into this thing. But the real test? It's just about to begin. So what's the difference between a picture-perfect launch and a mission abort? Let's figure that out.
I want you to think about this whole phase as the final countdown at mission control, right? Every single system is being double-checked, every possible outcome is being considered. Because this is where the success of the mission is really decided, long before anyone in the public ever even sees what you've built.
So what's our game plan? What are our mission objectives here? Well, by the time we're done, you're going to know exactly how to deploy with real confidence, how to create the manuals your team is going to need, how to set up the routines that'll keep your agent flying smoothly, and, this is a big one, how to make sure everyone actually knows how to use it.
Okay, first things first, we have to talk about the pre-flight checklist. Seriously, nobody would launch a multi-billion-dollar rocket without one, and you shouldn't launch your agent without one either. This is your ultimate safeguard against that dreaded call, "Houston, we have a problem."
So what is a production deployment checklist really? Well, think of it as your absolute source of truth before you go live. It's this super systematic list that covers everything: final testing, user training, a solid backup plan, and maybe most importantly, a rollback plan for if things go sideways. It is, without a doubt, your mission's insurance policy.
Let's break down what this systems check actually looks like. Step 1, you have to confirm that every single testing scenario is done, no cutting corners. Step 2, get all your features and workflows documented. Step 3, train your users and stakeholders. This is totally non-negotiable. And finally, Step 4, make sure your monitoring and alerts are live. You need to know the instant something isn't working perfectly. Every checkmark here is a big, fat go for launch.
Okay, so our pre-flight checks are all green. Now it's time to write the mission manual. You know, an AI agent without clear documentation is kind of like getting a super complex piece of IKEA furniture with no instructions. It's just confusing, it's frustrating, and at the end of the day, people aren't going to use it the right way.
And this is exactly where standard operating procedures, or SOPs, become absolutely essential. These are your detailed, step-by-step guides for literally everything, from initial setup to troubleshooting a weird bug. They make sure anyone on your team can manage the agent consistently and correctly. The bottom line? Good SOPs make your whole team better.
Let's look at the different kinds of manuals you're going to need. First, you've got the user guide. That's for, the end user. Simple. Then there's the admin manual for the folks who are tweaking the settings. The maintenance SOP lays out all the regular health checks. And finally, the troubleshooting guide. That's your first line of defense when things get weird. Each one has a totally distinct and vital job to do.
All right, deep breaths. The preparation is done. It's time to go from planning to pure action. This is the main event, folks, the launch, and then getting into a nice stable orbit. First up, the launch itself. This is where you actually execute on that deployment plan we talked about. You're migrating code, you're setting up the infrastructure, you're running those last-minute smoke tests. It's the moment of truth, the culmination of all that hard work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we have liftoff.
But hey, just because the rocket is off the ground doesn't mean the mission's over, not by a long shot. Now you've got to communicate back to Earth. Activity 2 is all about creating crystal clear user documentation. I'm talking guides, FAQs, maybe even some short video tutorials. The goal here is to get ahead of user questions and empower them, which, trust me, is going to save your support team a ton of time.
And to stay in orbit, you need a rhythm, a routine. That brings us to Activity 3, building out a maintenance calendar. This isn't a one-and-done thing. You need to schedule regular check-ins, like weekly performance reviews, monthly data refreshes, and maybe quarterly feature updates. It's all about making sure your agent is always operating at its absolute best.
Okay, let's bring it all home and talk about what it takes for long-term success. I mean, a successful launch is amazing, don't get me wrong, but a long-running, successful mission, that's the real win. This is all about sustainability.
So, what are the big guiding principles here? What ties this all together? First, a checklist is your best friend. It prevents those launch day disasters. Second, great documentation empowers your users and saves you a headache. Third, a regular maintenance schedule is the absolute key to longevity. And finally, and please don't ever forget this, user training is just as critical as the code itself. These are the pillars of a mission that lasts.
So, we've gone from the final countdown all the way to a sustained, stable orbit. As you get ready to launch your next big project, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Your next mission is officially cleared for launch. Are your pre-flight checks complete?